It is the news dominating the headlines. Donald Trump will become the 47th President of the United States later today when he makes his return to the White House. There is no denying that his inauguration will mark one of the most historical comebacks in modern politics. But are you cheerful or fearful when it comes to Trump's return? I mean, fascinating times. You couldn't honestly have written this. If someone had suggested 50 years ago this will be what it will look like, it just wouldn't have worked. And here we are.
I think we also couldn't have imagined an age when we would confuse politicians and celebrities and sort of see them as interchangeable, which, you know, is one of the reasons I think Trump is being inaugurated today. Obviously, I'm dressed in homage to his great orangeness. That's one of the reasons why I'm wearing this ludicrous colour. Other reasons will be revealed later. Why should I be why should I be fearful? I mean, we've got a power-crazed, money-grabbing, self-serving, selfish, man whose attitude towards women is, at the very best, questionable and possibly criminal. You know, he's been charged with sexual molestation and sexual assault. I mean, you know, why would I be worried? And he's leading the free world. It's fantastic. It's a great day for freedom for all of us. No, I think really what it does is it calls into question society, which we're all part of and need to be looking at perhaps changing, but B, you know, if you want to look on the plus side, and I do think it's good to have glass half full, whenever there's really, really polarising politics like this and you know, a very strong leadership position in one direction, then I think you create really strong opposition. And I do think that people will stand up. I mean, you already see whole communities in America trying to protect the migrants in their community who've come from South America and so on. And so I think you see the best and the worst in people. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that the best in people will triumph over the next 5 years as we fearfully watch what he does next.
Yeah. It's it is hugely interesting times, and I think as much as we can all have an opinion, my view is always it is done. The people have voted. The majority of people wanted Donald Trump as their president, and that's just what it is. And he has said that on his first day there will be a blizzard of changes amongst
back to fearful.
Well, yeah, but exactly, reform changes. So that will be very interesting. I do think he is a man that can get things done. Whether he goes about it the right way is one thing. He's been very much linked, obviously, to the ceasefire in Gaza at the minute.
But I feel very sorry for Joe Biden with that, because, I mean, he's clearly been working non-stop.
Yeah,
he presented that peace agreement last May.
Yes.
It was just turned down, and I think it's the fear of Trump's kind of, you know, erraticness that's probably pushed that through. So, I mean, it can... You're right, it can be a...
The interesting thing is Ukraine and Russia now, because he had said he will sort that out on day one.
Now it's 100 days.
Well, exactly. I can't imagine anything being sorted in day one. But if he does do that, there are whispers already, and the nominations are there, that he could win the Nobel Peace Prize. And that's genuinely now being discussed. So, again, but anything is possible, because we've seen it already, haven't we?
If you think back to, he used to have cameos in movies. That's how I remember him. And he was a
Home Alone
parody.
too?
Exactly that. He's a parody of himself. But now, what he has been able to achieve twice, what is the message that sends out to this new generation? That you can be a misogynist, that you can, if you're an operator, which is essentially what he is, because we think of him as somebody, as you said, erratic, but actually I think he's very measured. I think he knows exactly how to play the game, and he knows that he can get away with absolutely anything, and the messaging to our young generation is really dangerous.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I think what the message is if you do shady behaviour and all of that, it will be rewarded. You know, that's what it's showing, because considering he's a convicted felon going in. You know, I remember watching him from The Apprentice, and when I used to watch him on The Apprentice, I found it very entertaining, but I was laughing a lot because I was like, this is just ridiculous. But it's not so ridiculous
when you said
now.
You can grab women and you can...
Well,
you can,
yeah.
I don't even know if that's alleged. I think that was proven.
I think he's a very powerful man. He's a very fearless man, and with that, I think has to come a little element of danger to
But we
people.
also live in a world now where we see everything as entertainment. Politics as entertainment. Everything is entertainment, and we expect entertainment. And I think, in part, that's why he was successful. I mean, I'd like him to have stayed in the reality TV show.
Yeah.
You know, that was you know, probably his best manifestation.
If you think back to his attempted assassination, when he stood back up, you could hear the audio, and he was asking for his shoes. That's an incredible thing that he did.
No, that iconic shot, that was amazing.
But most people would have been in utter shock, and maybe that was his shock, and he didn't... But I believe he just didn't want to appear vulnerable, and he knew what that image would look like, and he absolutely used that moment, whether it was shock or whether he genuinely wanted his shoes, who knows? But that image, he knew that vulnerability would not work in his favour, and he ran with that.
No, I think he's a machine. I think he sets his target. I mean, I don't know who saw the Apprentice, the film that they made, but I mean, it was really, really revelatory, even though it was a movie, just about, you know, how he makes his choices, and everyone is sacrificed along the route.
But if you stand by family values, you have to live by those values.
Well, he has very few values, I would argue. Certainly not values I respect.
It'll be interesting just as well, the relationship with the UK, of course, going forward. I mean, Nigel Farage...
He and Keir Starmer will get on great, won't they?
Well, yes. Well, he did. Sir Keir Starmer this morning did say, you know, best of luck kind of thing, congratulating him and everything else. But it's his relationship with Nigel Farage, obviously, which is much closer.
But surely that's been damaged by Elon Musk saying that Nigel Farage is, you know, an idiot.
Shouldn't be
basically.
Yes, exactly. It is just...
That's going to be the most interesting thing, is Elon Musk and Donald Trump when they fall out, because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and that is going to be an explosion like you can't believe.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite excited for that.
We asked you at home, are you fearful of President Trump coming back into power? And 66% of you said yes. So that's where is that where we're kind of sitting in the audience here, I think? That sort of proves it's correct.